Hello, everyone. Hello, Chicago. What a incredible city. Thank you so much. Culture, for me, it's the new firewall. And build a security culture, without a doubt, is one of the biggest challenges organizations face today. And it's not due to a lack of process technologies or even information, but we are trying to change habits of people who aren't engaged and really motivated to change. Over the next few minutes, I'll share some insights and tools that will start change behavior and improving your employee retention as early as tomorrow. So, let me introduce myself. My name is Leandro. I'm from Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, and my first time here in America, make a presentation. And I am the IT director of Rockworld. Rockworld is a company that produces some big music festival in Brazil. For example, Rock in Rio Lisbon, Lollapalooza, Brazil, and others. And before that, I was the IT and the security awareness officer at Flamengo. Flamengo was a club of football in Brazil, one of the biggest club in Brazil. So, but why neuroscience, and what neuroscience come to my plate, come to my life? Picture that: high visibility, low investment in security, no security posture, and an infrastructure that how do I say, wasn't bulletproof. This was the landscape I found on Flamengo. And then I realized I need to turn my first line of defense people into something stronger and more reliable. So how could I train more people and less time with fewer resources and more impact? So what's gonna see next slides? Why traditional training doesn't work, knowing isn't doing, changing behaviors, flipping the game, 4 tools to make your training unforgettable. Let's talk a little bit about the use case, Flamengo, and some takeaways. Well, out of every 10 employees, 70% are disengaged or actively disengaged. Maybe this happened in your company. So what should our main goal be? But first, some days ago, I was listening to Perry, and he said some things that I carry with me for the rest of my life. And the first one, and the more important, just because I'm aware doesn't mean that I care. And it's really true. I have a company, and I help other companies to training people and to enhance the how do I say, the program, the security programs, and I see that every day. So it's about to transform, not just to inform. Security awareness is essential, but it doesn't change behavior on its own. And Fogg said that 3 things: that we are lazy, we are social creator of habits. And I agree with him, because our brain is all the time trying to save energy. So using heuristic and we are social because we prefer the least amount of effort possible. So at the end of the day, transformation only happens when there's a change in behavior. And we have this, he developed this formula, and in a simple word, let's focus on the chart that said you need to have a high motivation and the ability to make simple tasks, easiest tasks, and correct prompt to have a behavior changing. We be over the green line, and we make success if these 3 elements come together at the same time. A simple example: the behavior is locking the screen when leaving the workstation. A simple behavior, and there's a lot of people that don't do that. And the motivation: protect the company from data theft. The ability: we learn the shortcut to Windows L. And what is the correct prompt? We put a sticker placed next to the monitor, and with all the time, people will see this sticker and remember what they're gonna do that lock the computer. And how do we make learning stick? We have to combine some elements, and at the training, for example, you have to be emotion on your training, relevance, cognitive effort. We talk about cognitive effort later. And we have to put our learning, the ownership of the solution, and we play the role of facilitator. I'll share some tools to make your training unforgettable. There's a lot of other tools and methods, but we do not have time enough to talk about all that. So the first one, it's priming. I don't know if you want what it's priming. Imagine your brain is a flashlight, and when you think something, it's like a flashlight turns on and shines on that idea in your head. So this activates relevant concept in your mind, directs attention and perception, and boosts engagement retention. For example, next week we're gonna make a training about fraud. We're gonna talk about fraud. 1 week early, we send, for example, a questionnaire with some questions, or even you can put it, post it on your internet, some article saying about with something that grabs your employee attention. And for example, don't shop on Amazon.com. And what we are doing, we are preparing the employee brains to receive some information. And what is important to apply the priming technique? Be aligned with the content, be applied right before the main action, the training, the meeting, the video, wherever. VAR method, it's another tool. I don't know if you know this, but basically was created, developed by Fleming, and classifies memory, classifies sensory learning style into 4 types: visual, kinesthetic, read, write, and auditory, because people learn in different ways. And who are visual learns through mind maps, diagrams, image. People who learns auditory, they prefer to podcasts, interviews. Read writer, I am a read writer, so I need to read and writing some notes, highlight the books. And the kinesthetic, people who prefer doing, make experiment, make things hands-on, for example. And each channel activate different area of the brain and create multiple memory pathways, strengthen synaptic connections, and triggers dopamine release. Dopamine, as you said, is a neurotransmitter that control the reward system. And the more sense we engage, the stronger and longer lasting the memory becomes. Here's some example how to apply in security awareness, but don't worry, this slide will be shared with you after the presentation. There is no problem. And my golden tips, some golden tips. Use, combine at least 3 of these methods, styles in your training in each topic. Always mix it up, explain, detail, practice, bet on micro-learning, nano-learning, short, frequent learning bites. Bring real-life stories, simulation, and challenge, and make the experience light, fun. Use wherever you have WhatsApp, Teams, Slack, digital signage, whatever. The next tool is spaced repetition. Did you know that after 20 minutes, 40% of the content already been forgotten? That means that unfortunately, when I finish my presentation, but not a problem, because this is a biological process. So we have some techniques to retain and to regain this information back. It's a learning that a learning technique based on neuroscience and forgetting curve developed by Ebbinghaus, and it involves reviewing content at progressively spaced intervals. For example, 1 day later, 7 day, 10 days later, 30 days later, wherever. But we have basically, in the black line, you will see it's the forgetting curve all over the time, and we have to make some reminders to regain the information. So immediately after the training, you send an email, for example, speaking, giving some example or some takeaways of the training. I show you the next slide, that side. After the training, send a short and friendly email thanking participants for attending, sharing a quick summary of the main takeaways. And I used to put a CTA, a call to action, to make people to share the responsibility, in fact, with the other side. So ready to start putting this into practice today. 1 day later, I follow up with the quick and easy quiz, something that doesn't require notes or extra materials, something very simple. 7 to 10 days later, share a short video on a related topic to reinforce the message. And 30 days later, send out a mini case study for group discussion or a gamified challenge to keep the topic alive. So what we have to avoid: poorly planned interval, too short or too long, too much content in a single review session, to avoid high cognitive load. The more diverse and contextualized the reinforcement, the greater the retention. Let's talk about gamification. Everyone knows what is gamification, and gamification does a miracle in the security awareness program. And you know what? Why? Because our brains are wired for fun. We are naturally drawn to activities that are engaging, meaningful, and rewarding. We need to be recognized. We need rewards. And what is gamification? Is the use of game elements in a non-game context or in an educational context. And gamification releases a lot of neurotransmitters to our body, to our brain. For example, dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. And there is a game designer, J.D. McGonigal, there she said 4 fundamental elements that be present in your gamification program. For example, voluntary participation, clear rules, clear objectives, and instant feedback. And you can use some strategies to your gamification. Bring this idea from the games, for example, points and level, badges, awards, challenges, and what not to do or to avoid. Too much competition, shallow reward, forced gamification, or weak story. But what can we expect from gamification? 25% of engagement, increase motivation on 30%, but most important to me is the retention compared to traditional methods, 34%. So my final golden tips to gamification is create a fair, transparent, and democratic environment. Listen to your players. Do not use gamification with a punitive approach. Provide clear and immediate feedback and celebrate progress visibly and frequently. Gamification is not a silver bullet. and it needs to be applied consistently. We have to be metrics and always have full-time employees dedicated exclusively to awareness. And you could refer to SANS about for these benchmark values. Let's talk a little bit about the use case where I worked for 8 years. And in Flamengo, I could put in practice all that we see until now. And it was a pioneering, revolutionary, because because no other clubs in Brazil and maybe all over the world had a security awareness officer, a security awareness program, a structure. And we began in 2021 with no program, no security program, nothing. And over the time, we landed to this level 4 of maturity model of SANS. Some big numbers of Flamengo, just to know. We have 42 million fans all over the world, 57 millions of followers in social media, and last year we had $235 million in revenues. In Brazilian reais, it's something like 1,400,000,000. And some results, we had 500 voluntary participants in our security awareness program. 220 days of awareness, 31 courses, almost 13,000 interaction. I will explain what is this interaction next slide. And identify 85 new risks. And we created we created a branding because I want to use it on every communication I send to my public. So translating from Portuguese to English is let's make Flamengo safer. And we use it in email signatures at the end of the internet post, documents, policies, and guidelines. And this is a behavioral trigger. It's a priming. Every single day when my user see this logo, automatically he thinks that they need to be a security posture. Audience is very important to, if not fundamental point, is understanding your audience. Knowing the age range of your employees will help you design the best strategy. In Flamengo's case, we are going through a transition, moving towards a younger profile, company profile, and we have some, our leadership team was mostly the X generation, while the employee were mix of millennials and Gen Z. So understand the game, understand this profile can help you to understand the game and create more strategies according to each group. Engagement in an awareness program, gamified or not, consistent interaction with your audience is the key. So isolated action don't bring results. You need consistency, coherence, and continuous monitoring. You must have a baseline and threshold. And if you monitoring your indicator, your KPI of your indicator of engagement, and the engagement is above the line, you have to do something. In our case, I created a cyber surprise, cyber action that earning points, a game, a loyalty, membership, wherever. And strengthen the connection with your employees, the users. Had one that's very interesting. I like to take you to respond to my cyber action. I always thought no one actually read them. There's no bot. It's my team reading and responding all the interaction. This is my first experience, and I'm really engaged. I have to admit, I'm competitive. I'm aiming for one of the top spots. And this is my baby. It's another approach we took, create comic books, tap into emotional and sensory memory to help boost knowledge and retention. After all, who doesn't enjoy reading a comic? And on top of that, our main goal was for employees to take the comic home and share with their children, helping to raise more aware citizens and contributing to a safer digital society. And gamification, we have a platform gamification, Hacker Ranger, and that is all the strategy that I said before as ranking, progression, quizzes, nano-learning, badges. So when the user receives its badge, he can use it on the signature, email signature, wherever. Share in the LinkedIn, for example. We practice rewarding. Our rewarding program is weekly. We make recognition and rewarding people weekly, monthly, and quarterly in person. We shaking hands, we give prizes. So look at the eye, and this connection, this empathy is very important to learning. We create an awareness hub, developing SharePoint, and this portal centralized all the communication and serve as a gateway to new content, including following the VAC model that I said before, allowing, for example, people blind can hear all the articles that we posted, the interview. So it's an inclusive approach. Phishing. Every single month, we have a phishing campaign. And when the user clicked on a malicious link, we redirected him to a customized page. KPIs, we have a single dashboard that show us our main KPIs. It's very important to measure, to track it, and to learn from it. There's another KPI. Awareness Hub, 42,000 page views. It's an incredible mark for us. And some KPIs I used. Number of views completed all courses, completed tasks, people who are not making the courses and clicking on a phishing campaign. So what you must get from here, just to finish my presentation, my talk, culture is the new firewall. Culture is not a sprint. The way training as delivered makes difference. Knowing is different of doing. Focus more on behavior than knowledge. And know your audience and adapt the content. Mix the style to a training. Engaging emotion, use storytelling, have empathy, and avoid punitive approach. We are social and habitual beings, leverages, have dedicated FTEs exclusively to our training programs, and responsibility is 50% of the student, of the your users and the teachers. Adjust your program according to the metrics. And this last one was Perry, who said, plan like a marketer and act as a hacker. So thank you so much, Chicago. Thank you so much, Sans, to be here, to our attention. And if you want to talk, I'll be here all the evening. Thank you so much.